Hi, I'm Brittany Pacheco,
And I'm Amber Churchwell.
and we are the Watchers in the Basement. Welcome back to the Watchers, or welcome if you are new. Consider subscribing to our YouTube channel by clicking that button right there below. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, and we'd really appreciate all the love and support that you can provide. Shout out to those who have already done so. And once again, if you're new here, welcome. Hopefully, you enjoy what we're going to be talking about today. It's a little late, I know, because life has been lifing, y'all. Life. Wow, crazy. Anyway, but Amber, the lovely Amber over here, and I will be discussing part 2 of season 2 of the Netflix show Wednesday on Sunday. You know, we try to make it work on Wednesday, but like I said, life was lifing. But anyway, Amber, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me. Always love having you here with me to talk about all the things that we love.
Love chatting with you. You know I do.
Yes. So, like I said, we are back to discuss part 2 of season 2 of Wednesday. Amber, before we get deep dive into the last 4 episodes of this whole season, what are your overall thoughts on the second part, and how does it compare to part 1 of season 2 of Wednesday?
I liked it. To me personally, I liked it a lot more than the first half of the season. I think they knocked it out of the park. I really, really liked it. I liked the characters, the storylines, where we're going. There are some things that I kind of wish we got a bit more of, or more explanation of, or backstory such. And we'll dive more into that as we get to them. But I really enjoyed this second half of the season, primarily I feel much more strongly about the second half of the season than the first half. But I'm really excited for the next season, even though I know it's probably going to be at minimum a year or so until we get it.
I mean, consider that it's taken us 3 years to get season 2 of Wednesday. So I don't know what's going on in the world of entertainment that it's taking 2-3 years to get a new season, and you kind of just forget about either the plot line or who the characters are. I'm actually having that current struggle with Gen V, which is on Amazon Prime. It's kind of like a spin-off of The Boys. And I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't remember anybody. I don't remember the plot. I don't remember anything. Anyway, that's a different pod for a different day. And yes, it is coming your way, y'all. Hang tight. But I do agree with you, Amber, about part 2 of Wednesday, because I understand obviously we're having to kind of rebuild storyline. We're working on new things. We're getting more characters involved, right?
Yes.
And I struggle with that. And we'll talk about that, of course, throughout this episode or this pod review. But I really did enjoy part 2 far more than I did part 1. Episode 6, I think, is a banger of an episode. It was just so much fun and just a really fun watch. Kind of plays like a nod to some classic movies and stories that we've, all seen in our childhood. But that being said, I think I'd have to agree with you. Part 2 was far more enjoyable than part 1. It kind of dragged a little bit, but there's still some holes. There's still some questions that I have, at least, and hopefully we can have a great discussion here. And we encourage those who may be watching or watching the replay to leave your comments in the comment box down below. But if you're joining our live chat, please utilize the live chat. We have a much more enjoyable time engaging with you in real time. So just throwing that out there. But Amber, let's go ahead and get into discussing episode 5, Hide and Woe Seek. And I love the fact that all of these titles have like the word woe in them in one fashion or another. So let me just back up a little bit. Wednesday stars Jenna Ortega, Steve Buscemi, Emma Myers, Joy Sunday, Hunter Doohan, Moosa, Mostafa, Isaac Ordonez, Billie Piper, Louise Guzman, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, with a special appearance by none other than the mother monster herself, Lady Gaga. Yes, I'm so excited that she was actually in this next part of season 2, but I am getting a little ahead of myself. But anyway, where we left off Wednesday in episode 4, she goes to Willow Hill and releases all of the patients from the super secret program called Lois. This included an unknown woman that we had some theories about, Amber. If you just kindly remind all of us out there what our theories were about this woman.
You mean to tell everybody how I was right?
Put it so subtle. Yes, please.
Okay. So some of the theories that we had, you brought up the theory that you thought it was Ophelia. I remember that. You were fairly certain that it was Ophelia, and I was very much like, I don't know, because I saw some TikTok person theorize that it doesn't look at all like an Addams. Her theory was that it was Tyler's mother,
But
and
she's not an Addams. She's a frump. Just say.
Oh, okay, fine. But also, in the original thing, isn't Ophelia also blonde? Like, I mean, I know she is, like, from the teaser we get of her now, but she's also blonde.
Sure,
Played by,
we'll go with that.
like, but whatever. So we see this woman, and the theory that I saw on TikTok that I instantly fell in love with was that it was Tyler's mother, that she didn't actually die, and she was actually still stuck in Willow Hill in the Lois experiments. And because of that, I thought that had a lot of merit to it, considering pretty much every single patient that was there was told that they were dead. Like, we had like, that was the whole point of the previous 4 episodes that Wednesday was investigating. She found that every single record of these people, they just were declared missing, and the ashes were not actually human remains. So I feel like that was a very, very plausible thing to happen. So I got real excited about it, and I did mention that theory in our last pod, that it was Tyler's mother, and I was correct. So
yes, you were.
It wasn't my theory to begin with, but I fully endorsed it, and I am very glad I did, because I was right.
You were. You absolutely were. Yeah, I mean, you would think, because they talked about Ophelia so much, that they would, just actually bring her, face to a name, and it wasn't that simple. It obviously wasn't that simple. So not yet. So because of those events at Willow Hill, big fight ensues. Tyler turns into a Hyde. He charges at Wednesday, throws her out I guess, second or third story window. She is obviously extremely injured. And when we open with episode 5, she's in a coma, right? She's in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of get like an essence of what's happening in her mind, right? As she is still in a coma. And we discover that her new spirit guide is none other than the late principal of Nevermore, Larissa Weems, played by the wonderful Gwendolyn Christie. Amber, what did you make of the explanation that Principal Weems is a relative of Wednesday's? Because it has to be a family relative of some kind. What did you think of that explanation?
I don't remember it, because, again, season 1 was 3 years ago. So I think some person did mention on a random Tumblr post that I saw that her or Morticia did mention that they were distantly related when they were having beef in the first season. Like, it was like kind of a throwaway line. I don't remember that at all, personally. And
I don't either.
That was actually spoiled for me before I watched the episode, and I don't care about spoilers.
I know you don't.
Spoilers are never going to stop me from enjoying something if it's good.
Yeah.
So and of course, I love her as an actress, and I like her character. So I think she plays very interesting, because I thought the dynamic would be very interesting, and it did prove to be. I really liked seeing the engagement between them, and how I think Wednesday needed somebody to kind of be like, hey, sometimes you aren't always right, and you need to realize that. And because Wednesday's hubris is so high, and
Oh
her, and of course that's a telling sign of her character. We love that about her,
yeah. Hmm.
but I think sometimes it is good for her to have somebody other than her mother putting her in check. And
Yeah.
being forced into a relationship like that as a spirit guide and a spirit guidee, I don't know. I think that is a perfect way for it to happen because she doesn't have to listen to her, but she's kind of stuck with her. And I think that's the only way for that dynamic to work.
Agreed. I just thought it was interesting how it's like we're just gonna make it convenient and say like, oh, you're related way down the line. You're 13th cousins, twice removed, whatever. Okay, sure, we're gonna go with that. Why not? Let's just everyone's related as the Addams in one fashion or another. Why? Fine. Well, anyway, when Wednesday does wake up, she is threatened by Judy Stone. What's her name? Stonehurst. Stone. Like spaced out. The daughter of the man who was doing the lowest program. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
she's like interim director at Willow Hill. She's trying to hide all the evidence of all these patients and things like that. And she basically, wants to, nip it in the bud with Wednesday. So she's threatened, she threatens Wednesday, but Tyler, oh, lovely Tyler, and I will give you your moment to talk about all the things Weiler. Yes, y'all heard that right, Weiler. But Tyler delivers her by way of a nurse dead flowers, and he's disguised as like a doctor or some
A
medical
nurse.
professional, a nurse,
He's a
whatever.
it's a nurse.
Okay, fine, in the hospital, and it's like, dude, how many days have you been like hanging out at the hospital to like be there the moment that Wednesday Addams wakes up? Like, what kind of stalker are you? So I think it's a nice segue for Amber you to regale us with the Weiler fanfics, the theory, all that kind of thing, because there's something there, obviously. Obviously
I ship
something
it
there.
so hard. I ship it so hard. And okay, I know that there's a lot of people who are very defensive between Claire, which is Enid and Wednesday, and Violet. That's a huge thing, and a lot of times they hate each other. I love and respect all y'all. I don't really care. I do personally myself love the ship with Tyler and Wednesday, so I love it. I've been eating it up, and as Brittany has alluded to, I have been in a whirlpool of fan fiction and posts on Tumblr, TikTok, whatever. I love it. So, yeah, not only did he hang around the hospital just waiting for her to wake up, but he also waited for her favorite flowers to wither and die so that she'll be able to touch them, have them specifically wrapped and a card that is in black and white so it will not trigger her allergy, and have it delivered like in time for that. But he also, mind you, he was shot multiple times when he was in his hide form and he escaped Willow Hill. This man is in a hospital not getting help for his bullet wounds so that he can do this. And he even says like, oh wait, no, that man, like, when he was hiding from her, the yearning. I know he's also in pain, but the yearning, I'm a sucker for it. But she even brings up, she's just like, he wants to kill me on the Day of the Dead. Kind of poetic. Like, she mentions that. She mentions it. He knows her. He knows her. Just like how in season 1 he knew that actual horror movie with gore, guts, and blood isn't going to scare her, so he shows her Legally Blonde. He knows her. Knows that her favorite holiday is Day of the Dead, and what better day to try and kill her? And I don't think he's actually ever going to want to. I think it's just I don't know. I don't have logic for this. I just love it.
She's here for it, everyone.
I'm sat. I am waiting. Yeah, that man is
He's
God.
hot for
And
her.
also, yeah, very much so. And she is not saying no. I saw a post, and I should have referenced all of these or had them like saved so that we could bring them up. But one of them was like all of the different instances in season 2 where somebody says like blah 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 about her and Tyler, and she never denies it. Like he said, even directly when he's like,
Yeah. Even
like
with
the monster,
Xavier.
like, yeah, like you
Mhm.
never, like you felt the monster and you fell in love with it. She doesn't say no. She doesn't say anything. And like when Morticia says like, "Don't court this boy," she doesn't correct her. She doesn't say
No.
anything.
No.
And I saw a post, and I don't know if I sent it to you or not. I might have just screenshotted it, but it was referencing when she's trying, like later on in I think it's in the second episode we're talking about today, where she was making the formula to try and control the Hyde, and like when Weems is like, you can't, like it's still an emotion, like
Yeah.
anger and hatred and stuff like that, and love, they're all emotions. So whatever you
Yeah.
feel for this boy, and she puts a stopper over a bubbling over flask, and that's actually how they met, was over the bubbling coffee, the steamer from the coffee.
It
So I'm
was.
just like, girl never denies it. I
No.
have. Also, she was kind of like, what? I agree with Capri when she said, like, who would be crazy enough to try and control a Hyde? And she doesn't, like, there's no, for her, it's not, let's kill the Hyde, let's stop the Hyde, let's capture him again. No, she's like, now I'm going to be his new master. Because you know what that does? That binds him to you for life.
Mm-hmm.
Hi,
Mm-hmm.
Yesenia.
Hi, Yesenia. Shout out to Yesenia for joining us in today's live chat. She says, "Hey, girly pops. Hey, girl. Hey." She says she's so ready for October. Girl, I am too. Okay, it is bloody hot
Yes.
here in Texas. I need the cooler weather. I need the spooky season to officially begin, even though it has already begun for many. But October just really brings it all together.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah, I've already been wearing spooky shirts at work and such, and my coworkers asked me too. They're like, "Dude, does your wardrobe is your wardrobe always spooky, or is it because of the spooky season?" And I'm like, "I'm
Yes,
always spooky, but it heightens."
it heightens. It does. Well, going back to Wednesday and Tyler, yes, there
Okay.
clearly something there. We're gonna, you'll see it obviously sprinkled out throughout the whole episodes, right? But because of what Tyler has done, he has threatened Wednesday and also Enid, basically saying that on the Day of the Dead, Wednesday's favorite holiday, that she and Enid would die. So, because of that, Wednesday has to figure out a plan, get others involved. Well, maybe not directly because she always wants to be the one to deal with things and not accept help and what have you. But she does, as Amber has already talked about, she learns how to control a Hyde, and she finds Thornhill's, I guess you could say, organic chemistry recipe to create the concoction that would control a Hyde. Under that sort of ruse, I guess you could say. But then we also learned that Isadora Capri has also had experience with Hydes. Former boyfriend of hers was Hyde. He ended up killing his own master, and we learn that male Hydes cannot live long or function long without a master. So that's just pretty much reason enough for Wednesday to be like, you know what, I'm going to be his master, and we're gonna do all the things. So moving on from that, Enid finally, kind of confronts Wednesday about what's been going on.
I do have
And
a big dimension really quick before we
yeah, go
leave
ahead.
that Capri conversation. A lot of people have been analyzing that like what Capri said about her story with the Hyde, that her boyfriend was a Hyde and she didn't know. Luckily, it was on a full moon because his master, the reason her boyfriend killed his master was because his master was in love with him and told him to kill her. Luckily, it was a full moon and she was able to fight him off. That was what Capri said. It was only like Tyler did kill his own master, but he that's after multiple times where she said that told him to get Wednesday. Because like when they reconciled before the escaping, before throwing Wednesday out the window at Willow Hill, like before the mid-season finale, she was like, "Oh, it's okay. Like we're gonna get out of here. Mommy's back now." Like being gross and groomy or whatever. And she's just like, "And we're gonna get back at Wednesday and stuff." And then he's able to kill her. So a lot of theories is like that male hides can't survive long with their masters, and they can't. The only time they can disobey them is to save somebody they love. That's the theory.
Okay.
But that's because we only have the one instance to go off of. But
this is true.
Tyler was only started like really attacking her and stuff when she was reiterating her hatred towards Wednesday. And that kind of just falls in line with what Capri said. So now we can carry on.
Very well. Thank you for that. So Enid is going to reinstate the nightshades, even though because of the new principal, Dort, he has already banned all secret organizations. Well, Enid gets the nightshades together to tell them of her plan on how to control Tyler. Of course, Wednesday is going to pop up uninvited and weigh in on all of this. Meanwhile, Pugsley and Gomez go on a father-son outing, bonding, whatever, to go and try to locate Slurp, right? Which is Pugsley's reanimated zombie who has, he's been on the loose, right? He escaped Willow Hill. And while there's this, this Dia de los Muertos sort of event going on at Pilgrim World, which I thought was just brilliant. It was great. The call out of the massive appropriation was so brilliantly done because the Addams are also Hispanic. Viva la raza. And, is just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Well, amongst all the chaos that is, meant for entertainment inside the haunted house sort of situation, that's where Slurp is available. I guess not available, but he's found there because he has eaten a person's brain, as you do, right? And so everyone takes off running. Pugsley and Gomez go find him. Pugsley talks to Slurp, who is now more vocal, can put sentences together. As I said, he's reanimated. He's getting smarter after eating all the brains. And Pugsley lets him go so that police can't come and take him away. But as Slurp is exiting the building, catches Gomez's eye. And Gomez has this look of, I know who that person is. I know who he is. Very interesting. So we come to, well, I'll get back to that point shortly. Back at Nevermore, where they are having a midnight sort of outcast day of remembrance, right? Where they're honoring those past outcasts who are no longer with us. Tyler pretty much breaks into Nevermore, right? To make his way to find Enid and Wednesday. And through the help of Thing, who catches Tyler's attention and literally throws something at him. I thought it was so cute. Tyler, I know, Thing is so great.
I love Thing.
I love Thing. Tyler will follow Enid into, I guess it's like I don't know if it's a mausoleum sort of situation, but the Nightshades come to attempt to fight off Tyler, who transforms into a hide. Now, this is key because in order for Wednesday to attempt to control him and stab him with the syringe of whatever concoction was from that organic chemistry book, he has to be in hide form. But prior to all of that, the unknown woman that Wednesday saved has been listening to police reports on a radio in a unknown location, somehow makes her way to where Morticia and Gomez are living, near Nevermore, and has a conversation with Morticia. And it's here that we learn that the unknown woman is indeed Francoise, who is Tyler's mother, who is also a hide. Well, because of what's been going on between Wednesday and Tyler, and how Morticia obviously wants to protect her mother. And we'll talk about like Morticia's personality and character in just a moment. But these two mothers have a conversation, make a pact, because Francoise in Hyde form comes barging in, and Tyler's in Hyde form is like, whoa, what the hell, sort of situation. And Morticia basically says, enough, like, this is enough, you know, you two go your way, never come back, sort of situation. That's the pact that they made. And Wednesday is just like, what the F? What the F, mom?
I think we all were.
Yeah, seriously. To quickly end this episode, and we'll talk a little bit, we'll come back and talk about Morticia and the Hydes and what have you. Judy, again, from Willow Hill, is confronted by Slurp. I will say Slurp, because this person is now coming whole, and he kills her. And then Enid, while she's rehearsing for her dance for the gala, turns into a werewolf, despite there not being a full moon. Well, when so I skipped a major point.
How dare you?
Gomez speaks with Morticia and says, Pugly Zombie is Isaac. You know, he's alive. And Morticia replies back with saying, and I saw Francoise. So we've had names to people, we have, you know, identities to people. We don't quite know yet the connection between Isaac and Francoise to the Addams, other than the fact that they obviously knew each other at school. But there's a deeper connection that we find out in the next episode. Amber, but let's talk about Morticia and how her character is like so involved in Wednesday's life. And I draw issue with this, but I'm going to let you speak on this real quick.
We both draw issue with this. We talked a little bit off screen in personal texts that we think, as much as we love the Addams family as a unit, and we obviously love Gomez and Morticia and such, this is Wednesday. It's supposed to be about her and her generation, maybe some Pugsley in there, because obviously they're going to be in school together. It's supposed to be about their escapades and their lives and what's going on with them. I think they did it last season and this season. They just put so much into trying to get Morticia and Gomez there. None of the other parents are just chilling around. It's just, I mean, well, we do have like some, you know, the siren moms sitting chilling around, but like, it's not, that's a specific reason for that. Like, it's not, I don't know. I feel like they always are trying to do anything in their power to get all of the Addams there. And I do understand that, because, you know, everybody who is a fan of the Addams family and Wednesday have their favorite Addams. Personally, I love Gomez, but I really don't think that they're necessary for this. And I don't really care I don't care for the fact that they made this entire season basically, and Wednesday's entire plots, be so ingrained in what happened then with them. Like, if this happened with literally any other couple, that would have been fine. Like, it still would have been cool. It still would have been, like, the plot could have been fine. What ends up happening between the Gomez, Morticia, Francois, and Isaac, what ends up happening between them that we'll discuss later, could have been done with Francois, Isaac, and literally anybody else. Literally anybody else. And
no, I couldn't agree more.
And I don't say that to like say I don't want the parents involved. I do, of course I would love to see them, but this is supposed to be a school, like a boarding school. That we're not supposed to have so much involvement from the parents. And so I think, and like you suggested and mentioned that you think that we should have more of a prequel thing, or a show featuring specifically Morticia and Gomez, talking about what happens with them in Nevermore, and even having their own plots about what they're doing without the kids.
Yeah.
But I greatly I just don't, and we know that formula works, because the like Addams Family values, like we have we have them going to camp. The kids go to camp, and the parents
Right.
are just surviving without the kids. And we've seen those two separate storylines, but
Hmm.
and it worked. Like that movie is fantastic. People love that movie. I
Oh
love
yeah,
that movie.
it's
I just
great.
don't see. I just don't see why it's necessary to constantly force all of this to have connections. You can have an amazing plot without everybody having to be related and know each other.
I agree. I agree, and I understand that they're trying to like keep, these actors, these very incredible, talented actors, to have a bigger part in the series, but to the point that you already made, it's entitled Wednesday, not the Addams Family or Gomez, Morticia, Pugsley, and Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's Wednesday, and I liken this to what we got for uh oh god, I just spaced out on the movie Fantastic Beasts. The Secrets of
Yeah.
Dumbledore, and it's just like, wait a second, like we first started off with like one thing, following one person and their journey with these
Yeah.
fantastic beasts, and the other struggles it was for a British wizard to be in America, and the differences that lie in the magical world there. And then eventually it evolved to the Dark Wizard Grindelwald, and then we're talking more about Dumbledore, and I'm like, what happened to the Fantastic
Mhm.
Beasts? Like this, we have completely pivoted from story. Like, let
Oh yeah.
the Fantastic Beasts plot line, whatever that was, exist and play out, and then have a completely different spinoff that is of Gellert Grindelwald and Albus Dumbledore, and the struggles that
Hmm.
they faced and how that impacted the wizarding world.
Yes.
Bridging it with the Fantastic Beasts was just a very big stretch, but I
Yeah,
digress.
and you and I even actually bring it up when we covered those movies.
Yeah,
We brought it up that the Fantastic Beasts title gets smaller and smaller and
yep,
smaller
sure
with
does.
each movie, and it's like
Yeah,
people don't even call Crimes of Grindelwald Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald. They just call it Crimes of Grindelwald.
yeah,
Same thing with
exactly.
Secrets of Dumbledore. They don't even call it that, even though
Right.
Fantastic Beasts is small, but it's up there. And I very much
It's
agree.
that franchise.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't
But
need it. And granted, we barely met when the first movie came out, so I
yes,
didn't really talk about it with you. But I have friends and family members who know that when they had a single mention of the time period it was, I was literally saying, I really hope they can have mentions to Dumbledore and Grindelwald, but I really hope
hmm
that they don't include all of that
yeah.
before the
It
movie even
should
came out.
it should have been two different
Yeah.
franchises entirely. But much like to how I'm applying it for Wednesday. Let the
Yes.
Wednesday storyline play out. Let them be teenagers. Let it be at boarding school and the struggles of boarding school. I'm not saying it needs to be like a coming of age sort of theme, but just this is unique in the sense of we're seeing an individual Addams
Mhm.
outside of the family scope, and kind of just forging her own way without having to be hovered by her parents. And the fact that Morticia is incredibly involved in Wednesday's life, and it's very, very different from what we've seen of the past Addams. It's not that the Addams don't care about their children. They love their children, but it's just they do keep it separate. Like, you do you,
Yeah.
I'ma do me. Let Gomez Gomez and Morticia be obsessed with each other and do their freaky things and what have you, but like, don't that kind of tends to overshadow that of Wednesday. So
Hmm.
let them have their own spinoff. I mean, we
Agreed.
already know now. We already know now that Fester is getting his own spinoff. How and
Yeah.
what stories they're going to tell, I couldn't tell you, of course. But why
We
not do
can't
this?
even guess.
Yeah, why not be the same for Gomez and Morticia? And furthermore, because they're tying so much of what happened uh to Morticia and Gomez in their youth at Nevermore, why not let that be the prequel itself?
Yeah.
Why not have the young stars that play
Hmm.
Gomez and Morticia have their own mini series of some kind? You know what I'm saying? That way it's just two
Hmm.
separate things. But
I
whatever.
also, I think I don't even know if we got to that point when I mentioning it in text, but I also thought this whole season that a smidge in the first season, but I feel like they don't know what to do with Gomez. I
Yeah.
feel like they want Morticia there for some reason to have this mother-daughter tension with Wednesday, which I did mention in the first pod that we did that
Mhm.
I don't feel like that suits the Addams family, considering that is a very mother-daughter tension is supposed to be is a very common trope,
Yeah.
and it's come to be expected in modern media. And the
Yeah.
whole point of the Addams family and their existence is based off of subverting those tropes.
Mhm.
So, but I
It's al
feel
it al
like,
it's almost like they're trying to make Morticia a normie.
yeah, it really is. And I just don't understand that. And then they, this whole season, I just don't think they know what to do with Gomez. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, well, we have to keep him around because hell no, or is he going to do anything without Morticia being there? Because I think Wednesday even
Mhm.
mentions that they haven't spent a single night apart since their wedding. Like,
Yeah.
of course he has to stay there, but now they don't know
Yeah.
what to do with him. So
Yeah.
they're like, have him help Pugsley with the zombie.
Yeah.
Have him kind of make jokes here at the camp or whatever. Have
Yeah.
him have this random backstory thing, but more don't forget though, Morticia saves them. But
Yeah.
let's have Gomez at the like. It just seems like he's a tiny little chess piece, and they're just moving him around. They don't really know what to do with him,
I agree. I agree.
and he's my
Okay.
favorite, so it really bothers me.
I understand. So let's talk about episode 6, Woe Thyself. And this is probably my favorite episode in part 2 of season 2, Wednesday. The the cold open was incredible where you're seeing Wednesday wear colorful clothes, putting on makeup. She's jamming out to Blackpink. And I was just like, wait a second. What in the body swappers is happening here? And then it was just like, oh, okay, this is okay. Hit the nail on the head. Fantastic.
Loved this episode.
Great cold open. And then for the first time, you actually hear the narration of Enid instead of what's always been Wednesday. And she's like, admit it, this is the Wednesday Addams you've always wanted to see. And it was just like so good. It's just so good. Well, hours prior to that, a lot was going on, of course. But we're going to start off with Tyler and Francois, who have reunited. Very kind of tension driven with Francois and her son. He's not a little boy anymore. When he kind of tries to stand up for himself, basically saying like, I haven't had a mom in such a long time. She like smacks the crap out of him. And then she's like, okay, do you want pancakes? I'm like, what is happening? What is happening?
Oh yeah.
What is happening? Um,
Well,
we
also
also,
what we know of Francois so far was kind of changed in this season, because like in the
Mhm,
first season, it was what was told is that, or like, what we kind of pieced out from uh Officer Galpin and how he explained what happened to Tyler's mother, was
mhm,
that they didn't know about her Hyde background, but after having Tyler and the pregnancy and the birth and stuff like that,
mhm,
that's what triggered her Hyde.
mm.
And but later on in the episode, Isaac says something completely different about
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and
They
also
had to,
they
like, retcon
apparently
it.
knew.
They had to
Yeah, they
retcon it.
completely had to change it. But
Mhm.
some people were theorizing though, that when she smacked him, that um Mr. Goblin lied. I forgot the dad's real name.
Oh,
First
we
name.
just called him Sheriff Galpin. It's fine.
Yeah, Sheriff Goblin.
Wednesday
When
just called him
he,
Galpin.
yeah, we're just going with that. When he, because he says that Francois what got like got help and stuff like that because of her hide breaking out when he was born. Some people think that she might have hurt him or almost killed Tyler, and
Mm,
he and Galpin put her in Willow Hill,
and
not
Lois.
just for, yeah, not just for her. Well, I don't think he knew about. I really don't think he knew about Lois,
Okay,
but
fair,
I think
fair.
it was
Yeah.
about, because that's the whole point of the season, is that he was trying to look into that.
Mm,
But I think
that's
he,
true.
yeah, I think he definitely put her away because she might have harmed little Tyler, and
Yeah,
he was like, I gotta protect my kid.
yeah,
And he put her there thinking that that would be the safest place for her, and she ended up
Great
dying
theory.
there.
It's a great
So
theory.
yeah, I thought it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Especially the second she slapped him, I was like, oh, that
Yeah.
would make so much sense.
It
Because
would.
she doesn't seem very stable in herself. And
No.
yeah.
No. That's I think that tracks for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So here we're reunited. Isaac's reunited with Francois and meets Tyler for the very first time. And he's pretty he's more human like, right? At this point. He's pretty almost completely put together. But it's Isaac that tells Francois that he is going to remove her hide abilities and save her because it's killing her. For every time that she transforms, it's taking more of her mortal life away, obviously. Cutting back to Wednesday. Wednesday is of course attempting to regain her psychic abilities, right? We know that at this point, Goody Addams' book has been taken away from her as well as burned by Morticia. So she learns through her grandmama Frump by the way, a grandmama Frump is also a raven, right? She has some abilities as well. So we're getting the psychic abilities on like both sides of the family. Goody
Yeah.
Addams was like a witch who had psychic abilities, and then the Frumps also have psychic abilities. Grandmama Frump, Morticia, who is a dove, and then Ophelia, who is also a raven. So psychic abilities, real big in this family. So because Wednesday wants her abilities back, she seeks out her grandmama, who tells her, "Hey, there was a professor named Rosaline Rotwood, whose cottage your parents are staying in. There is a secret room in there where she would have seances and things like that, blah, blah, blah. You know, I used to be a part of it, blah, blah, blah. But if you go to her gravestone, which is on the Nevermore property, it's also wielding with like dark magic and this and that, what have you.
Yeah.
You there read the inscription on the tomb to temporarily get your sight back."
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, interesting. Okay, we're gonna see this play out. But because there's new rules that are being enforced at Nevermore, Enid obviously does not want to have any prevention of getting to the gala because curfew's being broken or reasons and what have you. But
Yeah.
Wednesday goes and does her own thing. She goes to the gravestone. She recites the inscription, and we get to see Rosaline Rutwood, played by Lady Gaga. So
Oh my
wonderful.
God.
Love her. Love every moment that we got of her.
That was great.
It was fantastic. So the charm is being performed or what have you, but Enid interrupts it, which then causes both girls to fall unconscious. And I love the physical representation of the body swap where they both from where they were standing, they fell in the opposite direction, kind of symbolizing
Pisces.
that yes, but they have taken over the other's body, right? So they wake up the next morning in their dorm, and Enid, quote unquote, is very Wednesday, just very Wednesday out, oh no, 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 no. Whereas you get Wednesday, quote unquote, screaming her head off. And I'm like, this had to have been so fun for the actresses to
I know.
tap into each other's roles and personalities and just I say have fun with it. I mean, I feel like that's kind of one-sided, but very challenging at the same time because for Jenna, she just takes on Wednesday so effortlessly, right? You even see it in her interviews, and whether she's just a method actor who constantly stays in Wednesday mode. I don't think she does. I think when they cut, she goes back to being Jenna. But for Emma, who plays Enid, I can't imagine what struggle that may have been for her to do the stare and speak in a more monotone and just not be so bubbly.
I did see an interview where I'm bad with actresses' names, so I'm going to call them their characters. where Enid's actress was saying how she even asked Jenna, like, "Hey, how do you do the not blinking thing? Because I got to do it." And so,
Yeah.
um, and she's like, "Yeah, she spent like 30 minutes trying to teach me or whatever, and I try
Hmm.
my best." Or, but she said that the trick was whenever they turn the camera away from you or whatever, that's when you
She
blink.
blinks.
Yeah, or whenever it's not your line, because
Yeah.
that was what she said that Jenna told her. Like, because
Yeah.
usually the camera's not on you when it's not your line.
Right.
So blink when it's not your line. And
Yeah.
but I thought it was amazing, and they did an amazing job. Like, you could
They really did.
really genuinely believe that they were the other people. I love
Yes,
body
for
swap
sure.
episodes. It was great.
Oh, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. Obviously it's very noticed. It's noticed by Agnes, it's noticed by like the students of Nevermore. Even Bruno, who is Enid's boyfriend, right? Also notices that there's something off about Enid. And well, I'm just going to kind of fast forward through this particular storyline in this episode. Um, we find out that Bruno has been conversing with a young woman back in the Philippines that Enid slash Wednesday has come across. She starts speaking in the same dialect, which is Talong, and like just basically tells Bruno, we're done, like we're just absolutely done. And for Wednesday slash Enid, having worn all the color and the makeup and things like that, makes a fool of herself, in the courtyard at Nevermore, and is like TikTok famous now. We actually start seeing the real effects of what happens when Wednesday comes in contact with color, and she really does have like an allergy, and it was just like, oh shit, this wasn't just talk, this is real. Like her
I mean,
face
I
is
always
her skin's
genuinely
falling
believed it.
off. Yeah.
So many people were just like, so many people were having comments like, "Oh my gosh, it's an actual thing." And I'm like, did you guys
Yeah.
think she was lying? I genuinely didn't. I didn't think she was just
Yeah.
being cheeky, and or any of the Adams. I didn't think that they were just being cheeky and like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm allergic to color. No, I
Yeah.
think they genuinely are. Like, that was a.
Well,
I
this
always
was real.
believed it.
Well,
Yeah.
this is very, very real. To kind of fast forward through this, an invisible Agnes obviously does see like the things that are happening, and she is just like, what is going on? Like what is happening here? Even Morticia like notices something different, of course, about her daughter, and invites the family over for dinner and kind of confronts Wednesday about it. And then the ever knowing presence of someone else being there, aka Larissa Weems. It's finally like made known that this obviously is not the real Wednesday, that Wednesday is Enid. And the only way that they can swap back is if they basically like learn about the other person and allow that's part of the curse of like what had happened when Enid interrupted Wednesday during the charm. So they have to like figure out what makes the other person tick, I guess, in a way, and what they
Mhm.
appreciate about the other person. All the while, there are things happening with regards to Tyler, Francois, Isaac, what have you. Poor Agnes witnesses a very, very gruesome crime, where you know, Isaac comes back on Nevermore campus. He steals the power supply that is used to keep Professor Orloff alive, who, if you all know, is the disembodied head, right? He takes that power supply because he needs it to power up the machine that's supposed to help uh, rid Francois of the Hyde curse. And RIP Professor Orloff, right? Again, Agnes is in the classroom when this happens. She's following Isaac to the car where the Galpins are. She hides in the trunk. She calls Enid and Wednesday to basically say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is, I'm sending you my location. They're on their way to Willow Hill. And so the girls are going to, follow and rescue Agnes, which, it's such a weird dynamic for them right now. Enid doesn't really like Agnes. She's like calling her a psycho and like intruding on her friendship with Wednesday, and Wednesday just like kind of abuses Agnes's help, I guess you could say. I mean, it's a little sad, but you know,
Yeah, that's just how Wednesday shows love. I don't.
we'll go for that.
Well, she's even mean to Enid. She's just kind of mean and blunt to everybody. That's just how
no,
she
this is true. This is true.
Like,
this is true.
Like, there is some sociopathy in there, and I don't think everybody's okay or used to that. And so
that's true.
Yeah, she's just treating Agnes the same way that she treats kind of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Well, back at Willow Hill, where the machine inside the Lois program is being powered, Agnes follows the Galpins and Isaac, and she's caught. She's caught by Tyler, thrown into one of the cells. Enter Wednesday and Enid. And because, again, Wednesday is in Enid's body, she also is able to experience the werewolf curse. I say curse, but just the werewolf abilities, and transforms into a big black werewolf. I was like, that's cool, because the personality was very fitting, obviously, because Enid's werewolf reflects that of, you know, her hair and, you know, like the blue and the pinks and what have you. And this werewolf that is Wednesday is all black, which I thought was very appropriate, very cool. They're able to break free. The machine explodes, so nothing was actually ever accomplished. And back at the Rotwoods' grave, Wednesday and Enid return to reveal what they learned about one another. And actually, that's like a really nice moment between the roomies and besties. You know, it's like a love-hate relationship, maybe one-sided, but because of what they shared, they are able to return to their own bodies. And once again, that physical, like, unconsciousness and you know, falling in the opposite direction to symbolize that they've returned back to their bodies is really well done. This episode ends, Amber, with Weems ominously telling Wednesday that she at least has prevented Enid's death. Remember, this is the whole reason why Wednesday's been doing what she's been doing, is to help prevent Enid's death. And while she has accomplished that, now the vision has changed to where it's now an Addams who will die. Dun, dun, dun. At this point, did you think that this was going to hold true? Because both Morticia and others have all said to Wednesday, who claims she had mastered his psychic abilities, that visions can't always be trusted. They change. They're very, very vague. Like, what were your thoughts on this new revelation of it's now an Addams that may die? Do you have any theories? Do you have any like guesses as to
we never really talked about how I view prophecies, but I view prophecies very much in the Greek aspect, with once you know a prophecy, everything you do to stop it is what's going to lead to it happening anyway.
Okay, fair.
So that's at least how I very much like am with prophecies. Like, something has to change that wasn't meant to happen. Like, a third party who's not involved in the prophecy has to do something to alter or change it.
Yeah.
Is the only way. Because if the subjects of the prophecy do anything themselves to change it, that's just going to lead directly to it. Is my personal thing. So that's just me.
Okay.
I didn't really necessarily have any specific theories. I did see several theories floating around. And we don't really still have an answer to it.
No.
Regardless. But I've seen many, many theories going around. And we can discuss those as we get to the end. But
for sure. For sure. All right, moving onward to episode 7. Woe me the money. And I thought the title was just hilarious. But we are going back to the year 2008, the year after I graduated high school. My God. We are in Morning Song, Florida. Which I don't know if that's actually a real place or not, but if it is, cool. Like, I don't know. I've been to Florida, but just not here. But we see a younger Principal Dort who is at the bar with a bartender, and they're conversing. They're saying, "Hey, I've seen you. You're an actor. You were on my mother's favorite TV show." And Amber, I know you're not great with actor names and what have you, but
No.
I kept looking at this actor, but the failed actor who is now a bartender. But his name is Arnold Hunt, by the way. I kept looking at his face, and I'm like, I know this face. I know this face from another Tim Burton movie. And I had to do a deep dive in my brain, and I had to look it up just to confirm.
What's like Sleepy Hollow or something?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
that was a guess.
That was a great guess. Casper Van Diem. Casper Van Diem, who played the love interest to Katrina before Ichabod Crane showed up, and who was sliced in half by the Headless Horseman when he was fighting him. That
I know exactly who that is. Yeah,
same actor. Yes,
that was a guess. I had
that was a great guess. That was a great guess. Good job.
Well, you said Tim Burton, and then you said that it was like a deep dive, and so I was like, okay, it's not the popular ones, so I kind of just went through my mental list, and
there you go.
Oh,
everyone just witnessed that you are clairvoyant. I love that. Yes,
I mean, I kind of just tend to be right.
That's true. But Casper Van Diem, I love that he makes an appearance in this season, however short it may be. He is quote unquote Gideon, who is the leader of the Morning Song cult, where Bianca and her mother Gabrielle are often associated with, right?
Yeah.
It's a cult that they've escaped. So we at least now have a little bit of background story as to who Dort is, because he's always been sus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obsessed with getting Grandmama Frump's money to invest in Nevermore, and just now we understand, obviously.
That was also a theory that I mentioned.
Yes.
I didn't have a feeling either way about it, but that was a theory that I'd seen floating around, and I mentioned it.
Yeah, you did. You're right. Good on you.
I'm always right.
Oh, so humble.
Sorry, continue.
Anyway, in the present, Principal Dort is now, instead of using Gabrielle, Bianca's mother, he is straight up using Bianca and her siren ability to forcefully make Grandmama Frump promise all her money to Nevermore. And I'm like, damn, that actually sucks, right? Because in my weird way of explaining things, I was hoping that at least one Addams would be immune to the ways of the siren song and what have you. But sadly, alas, it's not.
She's not an Addams, she's a Frump.
This is true. Touche.
Hey, you did it to me earlier, I'm going to do it back at you.
Touche.
But no, I see what you mean. Yeah, you would think that if anyone was going to be immune to it, it would be Mama Frump, but no.
Or, if you have psychic ability, like, why can't you, like, kind of, like, be attuned to something like this? I don't know how all this works, but it is what it is. Shifting quickly over to what's happening with Galpins and Isaac. He is treating Francoise for her illness, right, with a blood transfusion from Tyler. RIP to the veterinarian that didn't have a chance. That was just really sad. Just really sad.
Also, I kind of felt bad that Isaac clearly does not give two shits about Tyler. Like, so he very much just kind of like, I don't care about you, kid.
So on that note, because we saw this with the reunion between Francois and Isaac, there's just a very curious relationship between them. And
yeah, they're flowers in the attic. Sorry,
I was gonna relate it more to like Game of Thrones, Cersei and Jaime Lannister. Like, are they having that
equivalent?
The modern equivalent, exactly. I think flowers in the attic may be a stretch for some people, but anyway, the point still stands. It just seems like a very gross and very incestual, like, sort of love for one another. I don't know if that was like the vibe, if that was like the intention, but that's what it's giving, just because
they've asked the actor like who plays Isaac, they've asked him like, did you plan that? Because that was a little weird, dude. And he's like, no, we just end up being like, we were just playing off of each other and our excitement and giddiness, and we just really like hanging out with each other, and it just came off that way. Like it was completely unintentional on at least the actor's part.
It's also
And
just concerning. I mean, the age difference between the actors alone is huge. I mean, the woman that plays Francois, and I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she played Allison in the movie Bedazzled that starred Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. She was like the love interest of Brendan Fraser's character. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that that's who she is. And so she's like, let's say 50s, give or take. And then the actor who plays Isaac is like 19, 20. And it's weird.
it is weird.
It's just very strange. But then you put it in the context that they're supposed to be siblings. And obviously one has aged because the other one died, as a young man. It just makes it even more creepy. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
No, it's not just you. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone's weirded out by it. I've even seen compilations of Tyler and Pugsley later on reacting to them being weird. They're like, because if you look in every single scene with Francois and Isaac, if you look in the background, Tyler's like,
exactly. It
like
was just,
he's weirded out.
There's
for
line.
People who are listening, he's like looking them up and down with a stank face, and he's like, "The hell!" Like it's.
There's a line that Isaac says, and I forgot who he says it directly to, but something about she's the only person that I ever truly loved, and it's just like that's disturbing. Just a tad bit disturbing. Okay,
it is.
Just a sidebar.
I mean, maybe I don't know, obviously, these writers or anything personally, but maybe they wrote that into the script to kind of show that he is pretty narcissistic.
This is true.
And because that's definitely how he came up as a character individually. Yeah. So for him to be like, I don't care about anyone or anything except myself and my sister.
Yeah.
And like, I can understand, but with how they acted it out, and this, I guess, weirdly natural chemistry that these actors have together.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Anyway, that was just got to put a pin, just had to kind of talk about that, obviously, since we're here, because the rest of the episode mostly revolves around what's going on at Nevermore, because this is the big night of the gala, right? Gala, the thing.
Correct.
So Ajax, and I'm actually kind of glad Ajax had a little bit more of plot in this part of the season versus like the first season alone. He was just kind of like the love interest, and there wasn't really a whole lot to him. He was just kind of like comedic relief, background character. Particularly in this part 2 of season 2, he had a little bit more of a role. Like he has been helping even Bianca.
With like Tyler earlier, like with Tyler before Francois joined, and before before Wednesday even joined, like he was there intentionally to stone Tyler.
Yeah, you're right.
Like they're utilizing him, and I like that.
Yes, I do too. He has had a hand in helping Bianca save her mother from being taken away. They've hidden her inside Evermore. He seems genuinely concerned about Gabrielle as well as Bianca. And there seems like maybe there's a little spark developing, right, between the two. Hopefully we'll see something happen. I want Ajax to be happy. I do. He's kind of come to terms with Enid as well towards the end of this season. And because he's worried about Bianca, he tells Wednesday about Principal Dort and the crimes that he's committed. And the crimes that I have failed to talk about is the fact that when Gideon comes to Nevermore to confront Dort and all the things happening, he sees Bianca for the last time as well, because Dort sets Gideon aflame. Gideon wanted his money. He wanted to skip town because the FBI is after him, and Dort's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna split the money with you. Burn, burn." And all this happens in front of Bianca. So Ajax reaches out to Wednesday to just let her know what's happening. She wants to, of course, expose Dort. Sorry, And I love that they actually utilized the fencing once again. This is like the
I do
first
too.
scene, the first real like interaction Wednesday had with Bianca in season 1. And this time it was different because they're kind of like friends, I guess you could say. But
Mhm.
Bianca is in between a rock and a hard place. She can't divulge information because her mom is being held hostage. And what information she does share with Wednesday, she ends up using her siren song on her to, forget everything. But Wednesday was smart. She brought along Agnes, who watches while she's invisible and, repeats everything that Bianca has said. So Wednesday knows. But then Wednesday also like is mean to Agnes. She, tells her to basically F off and, go do your own thing. You
Yeah.
know, she's just very mean. She's just very mean to Agnes. I felt sad for her.
I think she just doesn't know when she like I think as like a typical sociopath, I don't think she realizes when she's hurting people's feelings
Maybe,
entirely. Like
maybe.
obviously she knows that certain things are a thing, but like I don't think she realized like when she like, oh, if I'm gonna say this to Agnes, obviously it's like kind of get lost, but I don't think she's gonna take it to heart. And that was clearly read wrong because Agnes did very much take it to heart. And poor girl, I felt
Poor
really bad for
thing.
her.
Poor thing. Yeah. So at the gala, it's a masquerade ball. Of course, Morticia has been heading up this whole thing. Aesthetically stunning. The
Gorgeous.
set was amazing. The costumes were amazing. The use of Mozart with the gondola, floating in with Principal Dort and Garmama Frump because she
Mhm.
is the guest of honor in this whole thing. Stunning, beautiful, mwah, perfection. Like, ugh,
Yes.
where can I get these costumes and can I be a part of this? Right. And at the masquerade ball, Enid and Agnes have actually, come to terms. They're like kind of friends at this point. Enid does like a really nice thing for Agnes when Agnes is like down and out because of what Wednesday said to her. And Enid's like, hey, just like be your own psycho. Like, don't follow somebody else. Like, do your own thing, basically. And we learned that Agnes has been watching Enid rehearse for her dance number, which should have been with Bruno, but they parted ways, whatever, whatever. So Enid and Agnes perform the dance, and it's to Lady Gaga's newest song. Um, I think it's called the Dead Dance,
Mhm.
and it's catchy. I loved it.
I loved it.
Um, I think it's hilarious that the song had more time on screen, technically on screen, than Lady Gaga did. I think that was just funny.
Oh yeah, and I kind of get it, like based off of story and plot wise, I completely get it. But I
Mhm.
also did like the little dance move that they did with the arm and how it looks like thing. I thought that
It's a nod to Thing. It was so sweet.
I,
I
I
loved it.
loved it.
Apparently the actresses both have backgrounds in dance, so
Mhm.
for them to be able to tap back into something familiar, and they killed it. They did a great job with it. The use of Agnes's invisibility powers throughout the dance as well, because she also is able to sneak away and steal Principal Dort's anti-siren pendant, which, unless Ajax or Bianca or somebody told Wednesday about this, I don't know how they figured out to go get that from Dort. Like, at what point was that communicated that Dort has an anti-siren pendant? Or is that just, what I'm saying? Like, there's little holes and things like that. But anyway, whatever.
Off
They,
screen, not important.
yeah. But these are the things I think about.
I know.
Continuity, people. Continuity.
I know. But I think what, at least for something small like that, it would have been a waste of time to have to like sneak in a scene and shove it in there just
No, I
for
get
one
that.
person to be like, "Meh, meh." But so like
I get it.
for something as small as that, I get why they wouldn't mention it.
No, I get it. Well, while all that's happening, kind of serves as a distraction, if you will. Ajax goes and saves Bianca's mother from the apartments in Nevermore. Bianca uses her truth spell, if you will, or her siren song, to get Principal Dort to confess to his crimes during the gala. And I think that was so well done by Steve Buscemi. I
Mhm.
think just like you could see he was struggling with not wanting to reveal the truth of what this gala was and how he used Bianca and how he got Grandmama Frump to promise all her money and what he was ultimately going to do with it. Because while that was happening, when he got Grandmama Frump to uh, promise her money, it's revealed to the family, right?
Mhm.
And she makes some really disparaging remarks regarding Gomez because it's presumed that Gomez, although an outcast, he doesn't possess any sort of powers. And that was kind of made mention when Pugsley was coming to Nevermore. He's like, it's weird that it skipped you, Dad. Like Uncle Fester has the powers, with the electricity, but you don't have it.
Mhm.
And we just kind of left it at that. So that's kind of the remark that Grandmama Front makes, and basically says that Gomez is not an outcast. Like he's not
Yeah.
worthy of anything. And that really like struck Wednesday. We'll come back to that in a moment.
Actually, really quick,
Yeah.
before this, like, second half of the season came out, I think even before the first half of the season came out, some random guy on TikTok, I think on YouTube too, but I saw it on TikTok, where he did a random analysis about how, like, all of the Addamses seem to have something up with them or some kind of ability, and,
Hmm.
like, even Pugsley is, like, able to handle pain really well and stuff. Um, but what's up with Gomez? And the guy's theory was that he just seems lucky. He just has natural luck because, like, even in the cartoon and stuff like that, like he's able to run at things and things completely just conveniently miss him.
Yeah.
All of his financial endeavors in the movies and in the
Hmm.
original show, all of his financial endeavors just end up working out for him.
Well,
Um,
even his encounters with Slurp, when Slurp was like
Everything. Yeah.
going shining on Gomez in the bathroom, uh,
Yeah.
you know, he just didn't die. Yeah.
Exactly. So like it's that this one guy, random guy was just like, I'm telling you guys, Gomez does have a power and it's luck. And I'm like, that actually makes
That's
a weird amount of sense.
funny.
So like when
That's
they were
funny.
talking about that in the show when they had this like confrontation with when Mama Frump said that to
Mhm.
Gomez, my some little back of my brain heard that guy be like, it's luck. Um
That's
Obviously
great.
that's not what ended up happening, but
No,
my
not
brain
at
just
all.
immediately locked that in.
So back to this episode so we can wrap it
Sorry.
up. No, you're fine, you're fine. We're good. Um, so Principal Dort tells his crimes and everyone's like reacting huge, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Well, he takes hold of Bianca to keep her hostage. And Ajax for the win today, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, while Dort is kind of blasting fire out of his fingertips, he blasts upward to the rope that's holding the chandelier above the stage, right? And Ajax, who is a Gorgon, who, yes, like Medusa people, you look at his snake hairs, right? And you're gonna turn to stone temporarily, but yes, you will turn to stone. So Ajax uses his Gorgon powers to turn Dort to stone, therefore allowing Bianca to escape before the chandelier falls. And absolutely, totally uh, shatters Dort's stone body, therefore killing him. Um, was not expecting that at all for the way that Dort would go out. I mean, mind you, he did burn his partner to a crisp.
Yes.
Ashes, everything, just tossed him in there. And now he's gone too. So RIP, maybe, not really. But I love that Ajax had a hero moment, and I hope more good things happen for him. But to wrap up this episode, Wednesday tells Grandmama Frump that she needs to donate a worthy sum to Nevermore in honor of her father to make up for the disparaging comments that she made. And then they discover that Pugsley, who he's kind of like Gomez in situations, been here and there. He hasn't really had a huge like storyline outside of like the whole Slurp
Yeah.
thing. He leaves the party early, goes to the gravesite where Slurp, you know, became reanimated from. And he encounters Isaac, fully regenerated at this point. And Isaac kidnaps Pugsley. And none of the Addams seem to, notice that Pugsley was even missing to begin with. So Parents of the Year award goes to Gomez and Morticia Addams.
I know. I'm telling you, this is not like the Addams. It's not like them. I have beef with it, but whatever. But it does catalyst into it. But I, again, also feel like this is a weird way to try and get Pugsley more involved. Because, like you said, like the only thing he's really had this season is Slurp. And then they're like, okay, well, now that Slurp is his own being, sentient and walking around, moving, talking, he's his own plot piece.
Yeah.
We need something to do to get him in, to get Pugsley back in here, and that's what they ended up doing.
Well, it's like Pugsley is an outcast among outcasts. Like, that has to be tough, because he's roomies with a friend of Wednesday's, and he kind of wants to do his own thing. He's kind of like repulsed by Pugsley in a way, and hasn't really been a good roomie, but it is what it is. So to conclude season 2 of Wednesday, we're going to discuss episode 8 entitled "This Means Whoa." And just the use of the word "whoa" in these titles, so cleverly done. So Wednesday learns that Isaac's original effort to cure Francois required the electrical powers Gomez once possessed, and Isaac plans to use Pugsley in the same way. And it really bothered me here at this point. We've already talked about this, really no need to talk anymore, but just how much Gomez and Morticia have done during their time at Nevermore that has now impacted their children. And it's just like, you preach, Morticia, about not keeping secrets in this family, yet you all are the originators of keeping secrets in the family. Like, what?
Yeah.
Make it make sense. You can't talk out of both ends of your mouth. Like, come on.
Exactly. And I'll say it again, now that we're actually discussing this scene, this plot point could have happened, or the originator. So I do think it's like that. I do agree this is a random way for them to just tie in Pugsley, but it still could have been Pugsley that they kidnapped for this. But the original person back in the day did not have to be Gomez.
Yeah,
like that did not need to happen. That could have just been literally any other being, especially because we heard the tale of the zombie or whatever that blew up the Yaga Tower, blah blah blah. We heard about this whole story and stuff like that, and they made it sound like an ancient legend, and it's like, that happened 20 years, 30 years ago.
Exactly. Especially with the Tim Burton-esque of the black and white claymation sort of vibe. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is old. This is early 1900s, sort of era, what have you. No, this was 1960, 1970 Nevermore Academy, where Gomez and Morticia were students. Really? Why does it always tie back to them?
Yeah, it didn't even have it could have been literally anybody else, because we do know about other people that they went to school with. We do know about that. Or this could have been something that they could have tied into any other of the other outcast parents. It could have been Agnes's parent. We don't know anything about them. It could have been
Enid's.
Yeah, because the whole thing is that they're trying to make it oh, the Addamses are these ancient family that have always been outcast, but so was the rest of them. It's genetic. I don't think you guys understand that all of the other students, it's genetic, and you don't have to be related to outcast to be an outcast. That is entirely that I will preface that, but it is genetic. And I also like to kind of think about that also has to do with a lot of other genetic, also with just mental things. I personally like to relate it to that, anxiety, depression, autism, things like that. It is genetic, but you also don't have to be you also don't have to get it. You can also just
that's just genetics mutation and things like that.
Exactly.
It has to start somewhere. Not necessarily it
Like,
has to start somewhere, but when it does start somewhere, it's because of a
Mhm.
genetic mutation.
Yeah. So it's like somebody could be the first person with that specific situation,
Mhm.
and then but then their family is going to be pre-exposed to it. Like I like to think of it in that way. But,
Think of Filch in Harry Potter. Filch, who comes, we think, from a family of wizards and witches,
Mhm.
yet he possesses no magical powers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mutation.
Well, also there's and the same thing with reverse. Like Hermione doesn't have any. Her parents are not magical, and
Muggleborn.
she, yeah,
Yep.
like it's a whole thing about that. And then
Mhm.
there there is a whole discussion thing because like we do know that outcasts marry non-outcasts. They marry
Yeah,
normies, and
absolutely.
even some normies want to be like obviously not just the Galpins, but they want to be normal. And
Yeah.
then we see in the Avian, whose name I completely forgot about, and I don't really care about her anymore because she's dead.
Judy.
Like, yeah, whatever. Her that
She was normal.
she was a normie and she wanted to be an outcast. Like,
Yeah.
there's all sorts here, and
Yeah.
it could have been literally anybody, and it didn't have to be Gomez. Because I also feel
But
like
it
that kind of
is.
cheapens it
Yes.
that like the Addamses aren't all just clearly um psychic and stuff like that, but they're also like, yeah, Fester and Pugsley have the electric gift, but
Mhm.
that doesn't mean anything's wrong with Gomez for not having that gift. So
Yeah.
I didn't really like that they had it. Oh, he had the gift, but he had it taken away from him.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that because that just
No.
shows that he's like, it doesn't make him any less of an outcast
Mhm.
that to not have a gift.
I agree.
Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, you're good. You're good. So to continue with the story, Wednesday confronts Isaac, right? They go to his gravesite because we find out the whole story about what actually happened with Isaac that involved Gomez and how Isaac was trying to, save Francois even back then, needed Gomez's help because they were best friends, they were roomies, and Morticia was the one who kind of thwarted the whole plan and um ended up sabotaging everything. Lost, Isaac died, Francois lived. And yes, I see what you're doing. Just let me get to that point. Goodness. we learn we learn that Thing is Isaac's right hand, quite literally. And the fact that Thing's origin has never really been like at the forefront of a need for explanation, yet we got without asking for it. It's like, oh my God, this actually makes a whole lot of sense because for years, all we've ever known was Thing is just one of those untold, like unknown Addams family stories.
Yeah, like
And
Lurch.
like Lurch, right? Same situation. Um, but to tie all that back in together, I thought was actually really brilliant.
I
Absolutely
liked it.
brilliant.
I loved it.
Because Isaac is a Da Vinci and he is quite powerful and also he himself is very intelligent. I mean, he saved himself when he was sick and dying, right? He made a
Yeah.
metal heart, right? Like brilliant. So for Thing to operate on his own without, having a brain or sight or vision that we can see, obviously, like he's still able to operate and communicate and do
Mhm.
things that are asked of him. And it's just like this was not on my bingo card, but I'm glad it's there. Like
I loved it.
totally cool. Totally,
And
totally cool.
getting it so that that Francois's maiden name and Isaac's name was Knight, and
Night.
that letters spell around Voldemort's status. Tom or Riddle changes to be Thing. I was like, I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah,
I
it's an
loved
anagram.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's
I
extremely
loved
well
it.
done. Yes. So,
Mhm.
Thing, sadly, who has always been, part of Wednesday, like backing her up, her right hand, if you will, he is forcefully reattached to Isaac, who is now completely whole. And all
I
while
was so
doing
sad about
so.
it.
I was too. Wednesday is buried alive in Isaac's grave, which actually should have been Gomez's. But when Gomez and company, killed Isaac, they buried him in that spot instead. So, everything's kind of like coming full circle, but it's just like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous. Anyway, Wednesday is buried alive. Agnes
Wait, I have
is,
a quick question.
yeah.
What happened to Francois that night then? We don't know what happened. Do we expect that she's just chill about the fact, like, oh yeah,
No,
the tower blew up, but like,
Morticia said that she survived. That's all that was really
well,
said.
obviously. But
I mean,
my brain's just like, why didn't she bring it up? Like, because we're more people like, what happened to your brother in the tower and stuff like that? And not even that, getting past that, but you would think that there would be more going on history wise with like Francois and Morticia and Gomez as they grew up and got older. Like, it kind of seemed real weird that Francois just doesn't talk about it, doesn't mention it at all, or anything like that. And then suddenly, after that
No, I
seems a
get it.
little weird to me.
No, I get
I
it.
feel
I
like
get
they
it.
forgot about her.
Off screen? I don't know.
Yeah, fine, whatever. I
Off
know.
screen?
I just wanted to bring it up because as you were talking about it, I was like, what
Yeah.
happened? Or like,
No,
where'd
I
she
get it.
go?
I get
Yeah.
it. So, because Wednesday has been buried alive, Agnes has witnessed this whole thing, and she runs to Enid, who is in the Lupin cages, because she's not trying to risk becoming an alpha werewolf, because she transformed without the full moon and through the guidance of Isadora Capri, who is a werewolf, even though we haven't seen her, transform. Whatever, bad wolf. She she advises Enid to take every precaution, what it could entail if, she becomes an alpha and this and that, what have you. So Enid risks permanently becoming an alpha werewolf to transform and dig up Wednesday before, fleeing the whole scene, because it's difficult for her, right? She
Yeah, she
wolfed out.
sacrificed it. Yeah.
She sacrificed herself. Yeah. I mean, she wolfed out very late. She, she just struggles with being a werewolf. So the idea of her being an alpha werewolf, to me, I thought that was kind of cool, but it's also sad at the very same time, because Enid clearly does not want to be a loner. But it's just kind of
And alphas are
interesting.
loners.
And alphas are loners. And it's just kind of like she's kind of getting predisposed to being a loner because of like Wednesday, in a way, because Wednesday has always been like a loner in a way.
Mhm.
But she does ask Wednesday, like, if she were to like wolf out and go, do whatever it is to be a werewolf, if Wednesday would, like, look after her or find her or something like that. And
Because
Wednesday,
she can't. The whole thing is that alphas, once they wolf out, they're not supposed to be able to turn back.
supposedly. But I like
Supposedly.
what Wednesday told her. She's like, I will gladly hunt you down. And I was just like, oh my God, you can't just be like nice and say, yes, of course, I would do anything for you. It's like, no, I will gladly.
That's her way of saying it.
It's so silly. It's so funny. Back to the story. At Iago Tower, which is the broken tower where Isaac, exploded his machine and died. They're back with Isaac, and Isaac is back with Francois and Tyler and Pugsley. And apparently the siblings agreed that they were going to save Tyler instead of Francois. Francois is like, she's already older, she's sick, and she wants Isaac to save Tyler. Much to
Isaac
his
didn't care
dismay.
about that.
Yeah,
He did
no,
not
100%
like that.
he did not. No, for
I
sure.
wouldn't say they agreed to it. I would say Francois forced it. Like, because
For sure.
yeah.
So Tyler's restrained. He's on the table. He's, getting electrocuted, all that good stuff, whatever. Wednesday, of course, with her family, come to save the day. Wednesday curiously frees Tyler, and he transforms into his Hyde form and therefore attacks Isaac, which also forces Francois to transform as well. And they too begin to fight all throughout Nevermore, climbing on the roofs and jumping from building to building, what have you. And at one point, Francois is like hanging off side of one of the towers, even though Tyler's trying to, like, hold on to her, she, like, pushes off and lets go and falls to her death, which for Tyler in Hyde form is, I'm sure, extremely traumatic.
It was
Um,
so sad. I got so sad seeing how sad he was watching her fall.
did you catch that the fall and just, like, the placement of her, like, in the arms of the werewolf statue in the courtyard, it gave, like, Jack Skellington vibes, like, when he fell out of the sleigh when he got bombed out of the sky.
Okay.
I was like,
I
"How
did
very
not
Tim
make that.
Burton. How very
I did
Tim
not make that
Burton."
connection, but I like it. I did see some people because, well, once we get to it, like talking about how the series ended when they were
Yeah.
making guesstimates about what the next season is going to be about.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, like the juxtaposition between werewolves and hides and
Uh-huh.
stuff. Some people were like theorizing about how the meaning of her falling like that, dead on the werewolf statue.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Mhm. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. Well, while all that has happened, the lab explodes, and it looks like all of the Addams have perished, therefore possibly making that premonition come true. But no, everyone survives. I was a little concerned about Morticia for a second because, like, oh god, she's actually gonna die. She looks angelic while dying, though. Like, my god, the hair placement, the makeup, just whatever.
yeah,
Um,
gorgeous.
yes, stunning. Um, so I wonder now if this also, like, changes the premonition, or if the premonition will not come into fruition until maybe next season, if that's the case. But I'll cross that
Yeah.
bridge in just a moment. Before Isaac tries to kill Wednesday by the use of Thing, now on his right
Mhm.
hand once again, um, Thing breaks free from Isaac's control, rips out his mechanical heart, therefore killing Isaac once and for all. So that was pretty cool. I
And then we
love,
get
like,
Thing back.
we get Thing back, welcome back into the family with open arms. I love like the scene afterwards where he's, like, packing his things because obviously the like, school's over. Okay, their principal's gone. Like, crap happened at Yago Tower once again. Like, just lots of people dying and lots of destruction and explosions. So yeah, school's out for the rest of the year, right? Things packing up his things, and he's looking at the ring, the little sigil that he had been wearing at some point, which had a chess piece of a knight, right? The horse represents the knight. I'm like, oh, that's just so cleverly well done. I love the little
Mhm.
details like that. So very well done. Chucks that because Thing is an Addams now, obviously.
Yeah.
So we see Tyler at the cemetery looking at both his parents' gravestones. Enter Miss Capri, right? Isadora
I'm
Capri.
so sus about this.
She invites Tyler to join a secret pack of hides because even though Tyler had outright said, you're a werewolf, I can, like, smell it all over you. Like, what makes you think you know anything about hides? She reveals that her father was a hide. And I'm like, I have questions. I have a lot
Same.
of questions. And I just want to throw in a really quick theory, real quick. It almost seems like Tyler and Capri were, like, kind of meant to be not like a thing, but just somehow, you know, unite, because someone had pointed out on social media where the cage that Tyler was in at Willow Hill, he said it was meant for a schizophrenic werewolf that went
Yeah.
on a killing spree in, like, the 90s. And it suggested that
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 she was it.
was said schizophrenic werewolf. Um,
I
I'm
saw that
like, what
too
the
because
hell?
they were also thinking because hides are genetic and it
Mhm.
is up to that hide in their life if it is triggered. So, what happens if you have both the werewolf and the hide gene, and what if you get triggered? What if
Mm.
it wasn't a schizophrenic werewolf, it was a hide werewolf?
Mm.
And Hides can't control themselves much either without their master. So what if she got, and she even does specify, that the females live longer, can survive without
Mhm.
without a master, while the males can't. So she already knows a way more than she should, and I'm sus about it.
Yeah.
And this was I'm very interested and very very sus, but also just God, leave my poor boy alone. He was such a sweet little cinnamon roll for his first season, and my boy has been groomed and abused constantly by everyone in his life. And
Yeah, I'm not
I feel so
attracted
bad
to
for him.
him. I'm not attracted to him
I
like I was in season 1. Like, I don't know.
You don't like him all oiled up and chained up and insane?
No, no, that looked
Because
great because that helped for his role in Daredevil Born Again. Because he was a villain in that show too, and
yeah.
I'm like, "Hello. Hello."
See, so many people were doing videos of like with the song like "When Did You Get Hot" all of a sudden. Like doing it with like him versus season 1 versus season 2.
Mm,
I think he was a cute little sweet little teddy bear, and I really, really liked him in the first season.
me too.
But personally, my taste more aligned with the second season because he's a fucking psycho. So
What does that say about you, though? I'm concerned.
I think if people have listened to enough podcasts that I've joined, I think they understand. And
Uh,
also, so do you. Like you know me. You know
I'm just
exactly what it says about
I'm
me.
just I'm asking the hard-hitting questions, okay?
Yeah, with very easy answers. I mean, um,
That's
I
hilarious.
really, really like him, but my boy's been through enough. And I mean this
Yeah.
like actually genuinely seriously, not just me liking the character. This character was literally groomed, abused, we know that he had a very tense and bad relationship with his father before he passed.
Mhm.
Like he was basically negligent to him.
Yeah.
We know that like he's had a very, very rough life, like, with every single person who was supposed to care about him has treated him
Mhm.
terribly,
Yeah.
and he was groomed, he was abused, and his mother came back from the dead, but within the first 5 minutes of be the reintroduction to his life, smacks him across the face and is controlling to him, and that's not okay, and he even says it to Capri, "I don't want any more masters or mothers," and Capri is just a kind of doing that, and it bothered me. I really think this character needs to be let alone to heal on his own. I really, really did not like that they're just roping him into something that Capri's doing. And I
Agreed.
do think it's very, very interesting, and I'm so interested in the plot, what's going to happen with that, because a pack of hides, it sounds insane, and I'm very interested in it.
Mhm.
But as a character and a character analysis, I really think actually really bothered that they just won't let this boy heal and they just keep abusing him
Mhm. No, for
personally.
sure. For sure. Well, because of the offer of the secret pact, Tyler does accept because obviously he needs somebody, and he feels he needs somebody. He's got no family left, and yeah, Wednesday's probably off limits, if you will. Speaking of which, Wednesday and her Uncle Fester and Thing head north because they are trying to find Enid, who is
Yeah.
very close to the Canadian border. Last we saw her, she was still transformed in the rain, just all by her lonesome, which is very, very sad. Wednesday also, who has been given the journal of her Aunt Ophelia, reads it while she's traveling with her Uncle Fester and has a vision of her deranged maternal Aunt Ophelia, who is being held captive by Grandmama Frump underneath.
So she's not missing at all.
Never been. And the latter finds Ophelia in her cell or room, whatever, writing in blood, Wednesday must die. And see.
Well, I'm actually very interested in it because somebody did bring it up and I didn't have a good answer for it, so this makes a lot of sense
Okay.
that um because Grandma Frump did seem to like to favor Ophelia over Morticia.
Right.
Like that's very, very clear and blatant.
Mhm.
And if your favorite kid just mysteriously disappears and escapes and runs away from an asylum where you kept her,
Mhm.
wouldn't you look for her? Wouldn't you care? Wouldn't you be more like involved about that? And Mama Frump never was.
No.
And so a lot of people were just like, I you can kind of assume Mama Frump had
Yes.
her. Yeah, like you could assume that, and I just never really cared to analyze that, but I mean
Yeah.
it makes sense.
No, just her demeanor as a whole was very,
Yeah.
like, very concerning. For whatever reason, she has this strained relationship with Morticia
Hmm.
and didn't really seem too concerned at all about Ophelia. And my initial thought was, oh, because when I thought that the unknown woman at Willow Hill was Ophelia, I'm like, oh, Grandmama Frump, like, just put her there, just put her there and never spoke on her again. Like, because of whatever experimentation was being done, and if she was somehow benefiting from it, or she just didn't have to deal with the raven that is her daughter. Who knows, right? I was trying to make sense of it, but there was always something sus about her regarding Ophelia.
Hmm.
And it's interesting how Grandmama Frump has taken, of course, a great liking to Wednesday because I guess they're similar in nature, or it's just to stick it to Morticia because she feels some type of way towards
Yeah.
Morticia. I don't
Like,
know. I'm
is it because 'cause they're both ravens, or is it because of
right.
the like, just to annoy Morticia? We know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, I don't know. To wrap up this pod really quick, Amber, what are your thoughts on the upcoming season 3? What do you think the plot line's really going to be covering?
Werewolves and hides. I um, I'm actually very, very excited because I love the Hyde lore. I don't think I mentioned in even the first pod on season 1 that we did way back in the day with Justin.
Mm,
I don't think I mentioned then or this season that I actually really, really, really enjoyed Jekyll and Hyde, like
mhm,
the Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I really enjoy that short story, and I love adaptations of it. Like Hydes actually really, really fascinate me, and so the moment that they introduced Hydes in Wednesday, I got real excited because nobody ever really talks about Jekyll and Hyde,
no.
and even then, like in the Epic universe and Dark universe, where they're having specifically a monster land in the Universal Parks, they in Florida,
Mhm,
they have a couple of mentions to Jekyll and Hyde, but he's not like a walkable character like the Invisible Man or other characters are. They have one area like where you can if you listen into the doorway, you can hear audio of a guy yeah kind of arguing and talking with himself. It is Jekyll and Hyde. And like people have actually sat and recorded the audio
mhm.
and it is confirmed to be Jekyll and Hyde. And then in one of the restaurants, you can get shots that are the
I love
cure,
that.
and yeah, you can get the elixir and the cure. So
Ah,
those are
when
things
are
that
we
you can
going?
actually do. Do you know how badly I want to go to Epic Universe? We'll talk about it
Ugh,
later. You
I
well,
know.
also you already know.
Yes, I know.
You already know.
I do.
So yeah, they actually have like a drink beverage for Jekyll and Hyde. It's the
Nice, nice.
one to take and one to take. I think the one of them is I think it is spicy and like herb spicy and obviously I think that's what it is. And talking about if we ever were to go, I genuinely don't know if I can have it because usually when they do spicy stuff in drinks, it's cinnamon and I'm allergic. So
Right.
that's off topic. But um, then again, those are the only two real references in the entire park that they made dedicated to monsters that's
Mhm.
referencing Jekyll and Hyde. So I personally love Hydes and I want to know so much more about the lore of them. And we got so much this season. And with what's going on with Tyler and Capri and obviously with Enid, I expect that next season we're going to learn so much more. And I personally think we're hardly ever going to see the school.
Okay. Okay.
I kind of expect everything else is going to be very much out in the world because Enid's not going to go back to the school in werewolf
No,
form.
no.
And obviously, this pack of hides isn't just chilling in Nevermore's backyard. So
No.
I I actually think it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm very, very excited in it. And with Capri being a werewolf who knew about the alpha thing and the whole situation, and her being involved with the Hyde situation, I would not be surprised if there is a lot more connections between the werewolves and the Hydes, because especially because they use the word pack. Pack is a pack of Hydes. Like that's not
Mhm.
always the word for a grouping of things. Yeah, it's a common word,
Mhm.
but it's not the
Mhm.
entire. She could have said a clan of Hydes, a group of Hydes, a cult of Hydes. I don't know. She could have said literally anything. It could have been. It didn't. She specifically said pack,
Yep.
and I think that there's going to be a lot of connections. I think next season is going to be about Hydes and werewolves. That's what I'm excited for, and yeah, I'm down for it. I'm I'm so invested, and I don't want to wait another 3 years. So let's get cracking, guys.
Well, supposedly they will start filming season 3 fairly soon. So let's hope that we will get an earlier premiere date than 2 or 3 years from now. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, and don't
But
break it into two parts again, Netflix. Don't do that. Everybody hates it.
that's just like the Netflix model. They've done that for quite some time at this point.
They did it
They
with Bridgerton, and they did it with this. I don't like it.
Emily in Paris,
Mhm.
you, yeah, they
And
do this quite often.
I know I'm not the only one, but I definitely waited until the entire season was out before watching it. Like I just didn't care. The only reason I broke that was because you asked me to do this podcast.
Well,
Like
thank you for your
I
sacrifice.
Yeah, every other time I'm gonna wait until the entire season's out. So Netflix, just why are you doing this?
But in fairness, it does help break up pods. At least we're not having to talk about all 8 episodes in one pod because that's a
Yeah,
really
and what would
lengthy
be
one. This is
nice,
really lengthy.
what would be nice is, and I would actually be more okay with, is if they did the one episode a week thing.
Oh, episodic, yes. Hands
Yeah,
down.
if they did it that way, that gives people time to munch on it, people time to load. That
Yep.
gives people time. Like, I get the reason that they broke it up like they do it in halves is because they want people to chew on it and theorize and think about it and stuff. But really, episodic is better
Oh yeah, for sure.
for that specific
Justin
reason.
would agree.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they did with Percy Jackson and what they're gonna do next season. They released the first 2 episodes, and then after that, it was weekly, and that's what they're doing with season 2. So, Netflix, please,
Get it together.
ah, come on.
Well, yeah. Well, that pretty much wraps up our part 2 of season 2 of
Yeah,
Wednesday. I enjoyed it for the most part. Yep, there's still some
same.
holes. I wish that they would get rid of the whole Gomez Morticia storyline, and maybe they will with this next season. Hopefully, it's going to focus more on like what you said, like the pack situation. Wednesday, hopefully discovering more about her psychic abilities, and then what the hell's going on with Ophelia, right? And Grandmama
Yeah,
Front. And well, they probably will still bring in Morticia. Maybe she'll discover that her sister has been underneath her mom's house the entire time. Yikes.
yeah.
Scary. A little scary. But
Mhm.
I look forward to it. I hope that those out there who have checked out our pod, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to check us out. Hopefully, you'll return for the next season of Wednesday. Amber, thank you so much for joining me today. You also have a wonderful YouTube channel. Tell us about it.
Thank you. I do have a YouTube channel, and I also post on TikTok, Instagram, and very rarely Tumblr. But my channel is All of Amber's Wands. It's a study of wands and wand lore in the wizarding world. So I go into the cultural, symbolic, and historical meaning of the woods, the core magical beasts that the cores are come from, and I compare that to the characters of Harry Potter. I even theorize a little bit about characters that we don't know their wand stats are. I kind of go off of that and you kind of reverse engineer it to find out what their wand probably is made out of. Come up with re-guesses usually. And what I've been doing lately since July is I posted a video saying, "Hey, tell me about your wand," because a lot of people don't really know about wands and wand lore. Even big Harry Potter fans are like, "Oh yeah, I know my Hogwarts house, I know my Patronus, I know my Ilvermorny house," but they don't really know their wands. Or if they do, they don't really know what it means. So I did a video back in July about, hey, put in the comments what your wand stats are, and I will do a little video and analyzing that. Most of it, my responses have been on TikTok. I am slowly trying to get through them all, but I severely underestimated how much people are actually interested in this, and I got way, way, way too many. And so finding time in my muggle life to kind of get them, I try and do them in batches. So my if you go onto my TikTok, a lot of those videos are going to be me responding to these wand lore specific questions. I had a lot of fun with it and I continue to have fun with it. I actually got two more wand analysis today. I still have to do the YouTube ones, but
Yay!
I am working on it. So if you want to talk about wands and wand lore, you can check me out there. And I also am a fan of a plethora of other things. So you can message me on any of those platforms as well, Instagram, TikTok, here, and I will love to chat with you about anything and everything.
Thanks, Amber. And this will not be the last time that you see Amber because she will be hopefully joining us for our next pod when we discuss Hamilton. That's right.
Yeah.
Finally, it's taken so many years to get Justin on board to do a pod about Hamilton. We're also going to be joined by Marcy, hopefully. And I'm
Oh,
looking
yay.
forward to that pod. So that'll be happening this week. So if you haven't already done so, be sure to hit that subscribe button to follow us here on the Watchers in the Basement. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button as well as the notification bell. That way you know the next time we will go
We
live.
also have a Halloween thing for this next
I
month.
was getting there. Just be
It
patient.
sounded like you were wrapping up.
No, because I was also going to tell our viewers and listeners that we have Hamilton coming up. We also have Marvel Zombies review coming up. And yes, because of spooky season, and we know how much Amber loves her spooky season movies, gosh, we will be reviewing something very near and dear to Amber's heart. And Amber, please tell us or everyone what that is.
You're covering Haunting of Hill House. So, my favorite show, honestly, is one of my top five in general. I watch this. I watch Haunting of Hill House at least once a year. This is going to be my third year time watching it this year specifically. And I I watch Haunting of Hill House every year. Mike Flanagan, the director of it, is my favorite horror movie director. I love so much of his work. He also did Haunting of Bly Manor, and he did Fall of the House of Usher, which came out last year, and or the year before. I don't remember. He
Go
also
figure it out.
did. If you're a fan of scary things, he also did directed Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining several years ago. He also did Gerald's Game, and this year he released Life of Chuck, and he's currently working on a Amazon Prime short limited series for covering Carrie, Stephen King's
Mm.
Carrie. So Mike Flanagan is one of my favorite scary directors. He's covering Haunting of Hill House, and I'm very excited for it. They asked me to select one movie, and so we could do one pod, and I
And she
bullied
couldn't.
them. Nope.
And she couldn't.
I bullied them. I had a short essay on why I think
That
we
was a
should
short
do.
essay. My God.
Do you want the full
No,
one?
no, I don't.
About why I wanted to do Haunting of Hill House, and I think we're gonna do it's 10 episodes, a limited series on Netflix, so everybody can give it a watch. And next month we are going to be covering the first 5 episodes on I think October 22nd, and then October 29th, the following Wednesday, we're going to cover episodes 6 through 10. Are you
Yeah, sure.
checking? Because I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
right.
checking. Yeah, I'm checking right
um,
now. We got a running
but
schedule that may change, subject here or there. But yes,
that's fine.
21st or 22nd of October is part one of Haunting of Hill House, and part two will be on October 29th.
Yes, but
So
it is on Netflix, and I will put the caveat for any of our watchers who have not seen it before. It is scary. but it's also beautiful and has a lot of deep meaning, and the cinematography involved in it is fantastic and brilliant. It came out in 2018. I'm so, so, so in love with this. I think even if you are a big scaredy cat, give it a shot. My absolute best friend back in Arizona is currently watching it, and she is the biggest scaredy cat I know. She's scared of the Goonies, guys. Like that's her level. Is the
That's
Goonies is
hilarious.
terrifying to her. So for her to be watching Haunting of Hill House, I, you can do it. You can make it through for this amazing story.
Mhm.
But I'm excited to be covering it. I'm honored that they are allowing me to talk about it. So join us
Yep.
for that because you'll want to.
Yeah. Yesenia in the chat seems very excited about what's coming our way here on the Watchers. What day is your birthday, Yesenia? We said a couple of days, 21st, 22nd, or 29th. Let us know. We'd love to give you a shout out on your birthday, whenever that may
Yeah.
be. And yeah, hopefully you, amongst others, will join us for our next few pods. We've got a lot of different things coming the way. October 22nd. All right, we got you, girl. We got you.
Lock it in.
If we're going to lock it in for sure. But yes, once again, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as all of Amber's ones. Go show her some love and follow her social media. You can find all of her links in the description box down below. And also follow our social media in the description box down below, as well as our audio podcast available to you on Google and Spotify and a plethora of other things. Amber, thank you once again for taking time out of your day to join me to finally discuss Wednesday and conclude
Thank you.
this.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me go on my rants.
Yes, you're welcome that we let you bully us into things.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
You're stuck with me.
damn it. Anyway, that being said, for Amber, I'm Brittany. Thanks again for watching, and we hope to see you again here on the Watchers in the Basement. Have a great night.